Would you agree that women are more complicated than men?
Yes, 100%. I do. I think
Yeah,
so.
way more complicated.
Are men too simple to understand women, or are women just too complex to be understood?
I think too complex to be understood.
I want
yes.
my husband to read my mind.
Yeah, and that's
And he
never
can't.
going to happen.
Yeah.
And I can't expect that, but I do.
Is it better to be complicated or to be simple?
I think it's better to be simple. Your
Yeah.
life will be easier, I
Yeah,
think.
it's harder when you're
Because you're not
complicated.
expecting things out of people that you're not going to get.
Exactly.
Some people think it's better to be complicated, and I'm like, why is it
No.
better to be complicated if it
No.
makes it harder to be understood?
No,
I'm
no.
complicated, and I
And
have
I-
no
and
idea why.
I
and
wish I
know it's-
wasn't, yeah.
I know it's wrong.
My
but I
anxiety
am.
takes over. I would rather be simple. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Just out of curiosity, okay, so you ever heard of the term stoic? You know what stoic means?
I do. Yeah.
Okay. Well, how would you define stoic?
Stoic is kind of like you're just kind of there, no expression. You're just kind of emotionless.
Like sober Sam.
Yes,
Just like,
yeah.
Stoic is typically a term that's applied to men, like, you know,
Yes.
strong stoic
Yeah,
men.
yeah.
Why do you think women aren't, you know, encouraged to be more stoic?
I don't know.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
It's a good question. I don't know.
If a
really.
woman is more stoic, she's going to be deemed as a bitch
Yeah,
or resting bitch face.
that's true.
That's like
Yeah.
it's like society wants women to be in this middle ground that doesn't exist. They want us to be outspoken but not too outspoken.
They want you to
Happy
work
but
and
not
take
too
care of your
happy.
kids.
Yeah.
They want you to.
This in the middle ground.
Do you think it's okay to generalize about relationships or about men and women in relationships?
I don't like generalizing.
Do you think generalizing is always wrong?
No, I don't think it's always wrong, but it depends on what the topic is and what we're talking about. Like, you need to be more specific.
Okay, because I understand, I acknowledge that there's exceptions to every rule, but the only thing is, if you couldn't generalize about relationships, why would anyone ever bother giving relationship advice?
I think people should probably stop doing that.
Interesting, really? Okay.
I feel like every relationship is so unique that there's no right answer for it.
Okay. Why are there best-selling books called Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, which generalize about men and women? There are exceptions, but is generalizing always wrong?
I feel like it is wrong.
Okay. But I mean, don't women typically like want to date men taller than them? Isn't that a pattern?
That's true. That is very true.
So you can generalize about that, right?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
so generalizing is not always wrong.
I mean, I feel like that's a bad one, but I feel like you shouldn't do that.
Okay. No.
It shouldn't be a requirement for a man to be taller than you if you like them.
True. No. Obviously, it should be what's on the inside that counts.
Yeah.
However, like I said, you know, people have, you know, preferences and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Here's an interesting one. What's the first thought that pops into your head when you see a really attractive man?
If they have a girlfriend or a wife, if they're taken, if they find me attractive, if they're gonna approach me.
Okay. And what do you think are like the first few thoughts that pop into a man's head when he sees an attractive female?
Is she easy?
Something sexual?
Yeah, definitely.
Interesting.
Oh, like are her boobs big? Does she have a wedding ring?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Can I get laid?
usually something sexual, right?
Yes, always. I think it's always, yeah.
Do you think that sex is the only thing that men care about, or is it just the first thing that men care about?
I think first. First. I don't think only.
So why
think
do so
first.
many women think that sex is the only thing men care about when it's usually the first thing that men care about?
Because they're stupid.
Yeah. No, because that's what men portray. They make it seem like it's all about sex, but really, they really do care about your personality. They want you to be cool. They want your friends to like them. They want you to be the cool girl and all that. But they
Tell
don't.
me you think this one's true.
Okay.
Which of the following do you think is more true? That a man's ideal woman is a bro in the body of a hot chick, or a woman's ideal man is a woman in the body of a handsome man?
I think it's the first thing that you said.
Yeah.
Most people do. Why
Yeah,
is that?
Absolutely.
Because a woman in the
Yeah.
body of a handsome man would be a gay man.
Right. Oh, that's true.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's true. I
Right,
think
but a
about
bro
that.
in the body of a hot chick, a lot of guys
Absolutely.
would love to have someone
Yes.
he's attracted to.
Yes.
What they want to do.
Yes.
But we can go watch sports,
Yes.
play video
Here.
games together.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
It's the first thing they definitely
So
think
why
about.
do so many women think that sex is all men think about and all they care about?
Because that's initially what they want from you when they meet you, because they don't know who you are as a person or anything, but they still pursue you to try to sleep with you.
Okay. So tell me if you think this is true or not. A woman is more likely to feel emotionally connected before she can experience physical intimacy, while a man is more likely to experience physical intimacy before he can feel emotionally connected. There you go. So then why would a woman make a man wait? Wouldn't the sooner that she gives it
That's
up?
true. That I actually heard that point before, but I feel like some women want to wait because they don't want it to be. They want to make sure that it's not all the man wants from you. So I feel like they think if they're willing to wait, then they actually like me.
But the sooner that you give it up, the sooner that you're gonna know.
That's true, but you have to make them work for it. It's not for free.
What were some of the things you were told about men while growing up?
Oh, like boys don't cry. That's like the biggest one that actually most of my guy friends talk about, and they feel like they can't share their emotions.
And you know, we are the biggest, like people who have the biggest emotions, but that's not true. Like everyone's the same with that.
Why do you think that there are some women who find expressions of male emotion to be unattractive?
They're lame. Like, that's pretty lame of them. They probably didn't grow up with brothers.
Do you think women are more attracted to masculine or feminine men?
I'm more attracted to feminine men, so it kind of just depends, like, on what you like.
What is attractive about a man in touch with his femininity?
Because they're more sweet, they're usually more fashionable. We usually like the same things, like we are more, the interests are the same. I'm just not really into that big burly guy, like it kind of turns me off.
Why do you think that some women will identify patterns of male emotion to be seen as weak?
Because it's a standard for men to be strong and not be emotional, and then it's a standard for women to be emotional and crazy and stuff like that.
Is it a standard for women to be crazy? How do you define crazy?
Crazy is like just doing crazy stuff, like messing up the car, you know, stalking.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's a good thing?
No, it's not.
Okay. Do you think it's okay to label people?
I don't think it's good to label people. Assumptions are the killer of all relationships.
So
don't make assumptions.
if it's wrong to label people, why are there some people who get really offended if you don't refer to them with the right pronouns? Isn't that labeling people?
It totally is, and I usually try not to label people. I just kind of step back from that. Everyone should just be who they are, and I don't care what you label yourself. I'm still gonna love you no matter what.
Why is being easy considered a bad thing?
Because it shows that anybody could pursue you, and people don't want anything that everybody could have.
Good answer. I like that. Okay. Do you think that men are intimidated or dislike it when women approach or make the first move?
No, I think men actually like it.
So why don't more women do it?
Because it's, I don't know, me personally, I don't do it because I'm kind of shy. I mean, like, I just don't want to approach a man.
Well, right, but guys can be shy also, right? Do you think shyness hurts a man or a woman more?
A man.
Right, it does. Okay. All right. Okay. Do you think it's true that women will make rules for the wrong guy, but break rules for the right guy?
Definitely.
Why is being easy considered a bad thing?
I just think it's like a negative connotation that is just added to it.
It's a bad thing because it's supposed to be something special. Like,
Yeah.
you can't just give yourself away.
Okay. Do you think it's true that women will make rules for the wrong guy, but break rules for the right guy?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
Like, if you're hot, it just goes out the window.
Yeah.
Women claim to be the givers of life. Has a human ever been created without a man's seed?
No.
Women also claim to have what's called pussy power. Would it be possible for women to have this power if men didn't give it to them?
No.
So why aren't women more grateful for what men contribute and sacrifice?
Why aren't men more grateful for women? A man would not be able to carry a baby.
Well, right, true. No, men obviously should be, but don't men typically, protect and provide for women and put women up on pedestals? And
Not all the time. Women could put a man up on a pedestal.
But women also don't show gratitude to men all the time either.
Not all the time.
Right, but I'm just saying, maybe, don't you think that maybe if there was more gratitude shown both ways?
Yeah, definitely.
So, but I'm saying there's obviously, if you look at the media, there's a major movement out there to demonize men and say that masculinity is
people-
toxic and,
It is to a certain extent. They do the same thing to women in
But
the
I mean,
media
is it possible
as
that-
well.
Like, okay,
Like-
what do you think?
We haven't had a woman president yet.
Right, but we've had a woman nominated for nominated to
yeah,
run
but
for president.
she didn't win.
Right, but the majority.
and it's only because she was a woman.
Would it be possible for women to have this power if men didn't give it to them?
No. The men have to give them that power.
So why aren't women more grateful for what men contribute and sacrifice?
Because a man is always willing to contribute.
True.
A woman is not.
I think it's the fact. Yeah, I think it's the fact that in my experience, I've never met a man who wasn't willing. That's me. I mean, I'm not saying that to be
There's always
conceited,
women that aren't willing.
but there are always women who aren't willing. But a man is kind of like, yeah, okay, always. Men are always down because sex is a priority to men. It's a mind thing.
No, that's a good point and stuff, but I'm saying the fact that men are. Remember we asked about why is being easy considered a bad thing?
Yeah.
Do you think it's a bad thing that men are so easy?
I don't think it's a bad thing. I just think that it's
that's life.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
I think that's a lot of how it is. Yeah.
I mean, it's available to her if she wants
Yeah,
it.
that's true.
I mean, if she doesn't get voted in, that means that that's not what the population wants, and the population is more than 50% women. So if she's not voted in, that
I
means
feel
that,
like women are brainwashed to think that as well.
okay, maybe it's changing. Like I said, I mean, obviously, I think we've come a long way, but I'm saying that, I mean, obviously, we haven't had a Jewish president, we haven't had a gay president. I mean, there's a lot
That's
of things.
true,
There's
yeah.
a lot of things we haven't had.
That's true, but that's different. It's only men and women. Those are in a different spectrum.
Do you think women are biologically wired to seek out the highest value man they can attract, specifically the best protector and provider?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
do. And you know what? We might say that we're not vain, but we are. I know somebody who did IVF, and they were a lesbian couple, and they had to literally flip through every biography of a man for a sperm donor, and they said it was the most conceited thing I've ever done. They said, but I picked the tallest guy with the best degree, with the best credentials, and that's what they picked.
They want to secure the best genes
Right,
for their
exactly,
offspring.
exactly.
Okay.
That's
Second
right.
question is, do you think that men are biologically wired to reproduce and spread their seed with as many women as possible?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because for men, sex is a priority.
Men struggle with commitment because we are naturally born to procreate and die. You know, we're meant to run out there, spread our seed, and die. That was what our role was back in the days as cavemen. Now, that still native man that's in us is still in us, but it's trying to be controlled now. So there's only so much you can expect.
So, if both of those are true, is the expectation of a man to be monogamous asking a man to deny his biological instinct to reproduce?
It's denying an instinct because society has changed to a point where marriage is a part of society. To me, marriage is a gambit. You know, marriage is a scam in America because you shouldn't need a piece of paper and a ring to prove you really love someone.
I agree.
It's not. It's just, and what happens after these marriages, especially now. I mean, the divorce rate. Let's say, in 1950 was 10%. Now the divorce rate's above 50, and there's guys being left with absolutely nothing who still have to pay alimony and child support. I'm not saying that you should not have to pay that, but for them to take completely everything is unjustified.
When preparing for a special night out on the town, how much consideration do you give towards being on time?
I don't. My head is in the clouds. I'm an artistic person, and like, it's my time always. It's like Allie's world always. Like, I'm fashionably late always.
Okay, now you're in a relationship though, right? Okay.
Yes.
But if just out of curiosity, if you were on a first date, how long would you wait for a guy who was late?
Ooh, if he texted me and told me that he was running late, I would probably wait maybe up to an hour. But if he's not texting me or calling me, it's done.
Gotcha.
On to the next.
Okay, that's fine. What is the difference between a man who spoils his woman and a man who's whipped?
The difference between a man who spoils his woman and a man who is whipped is a man who spoils his woman can still go hang out with his boys. He can still do whatever he wants on a Friday night, But a man who is whipped has to check in with her, say, can I go out? Yeah, can I go out with her? I probably shouldn't ask. I probably shouldn't ask because I'm going to get in trouble. Yeah, right?
Be scared.
No, right. Because a normal guy who spoils his wife says, hey, girl, listen, I'm going out with my boys tonight, but I'm with you all Saturday night. A guy who is whipped is like, you guys, I can't come out tonight. I can't come out tonight. My girl's going to trip. I'm not going to be able to be there. Yeah, right.
True. It's almost like a mama's boy versus a man who has a good relationship with his mother. What is the difference between a mama's boy and a man who has a good relationship with his mother?
Ooh, so I'm probably gonna go with the guy who has a good relationship with his mother than the mommy's boy, because sometimes a mommy's boy relies too much on his mom, and then you kind of lose in touch with your relationship. Like, he'll probably want to be hanging out with his mom more than you, where the man who has a great relationship with his mom sees,
The balance of it.
Okay, and in relation to that, right? Why is it that we typically say like a mama's boy and a daddy's girl? Why not a mama's girl and a daddy's boy?
wow, that is true. Well, I don't know. There's something about, like, I'm a daddy's girl. Like, there's just something special about that. And like a mommy's boy, I don't know. There's just something about the opposite sex that's attractive, and I think it makes a other gender feel more secure and in touch with that other gender.
There's so much talk about a woman's body, her choice, and like that.
Yeah.
My question is, if we give a woman the right to opt out of motherhood,
Right.
should we also give a man the right to opt out of fatherhood and 18 years of child support?
I agree. You don't agree?
No, I don't know.
But if a mom walks into an abortion clinic and says, you know what, I'm not feeling this, and gets an abortion, the dad has no say. How come this mom can't? Let's just say it's a one-night stand, just hypothetical, and the mom comes back to the dad and is like, hey, I'm pregnant. Why can't he opt out if she was able to say, hey, I don't want this baby? It's a double standard.
Well, he could obviously sign his rights away, but he cannot physically make
He
somebody have
can't,
an
but he
abortion.
can't sign his rights away because he has to pay child support.
I mean,
He is legally bound by child
to be
support.
honest, that's just the way it is.
I know, but do you think it's right?
You can't tell a woman to have an abortion. Like, that's it.
I know, but do you think it's right that a mom can say, I don't want this baby, but a dad never can?
I mean, I just think that's just the way it is.
But do you think it's right?
I mean,
Yes or no? Gun to your head.
Gun to my head.
I don't think it's right. I think the whole system's fucked.
We
on
spend
about that.
so much time talking about a woman's choice.
Right, but the man doesn't have one.
But my only point is, what reproductive rights does a man have?
None.
Well, no one should be forced to do anything. A man, if the woman doesn't want it and the man wants it, the man shouldn't force the woman to carry the baby if that's not something she wants to do.
Right.
And vice versa.
But should she be able to? I agree. But should she be able to force him to pay for a baby that he doesn't want if he can't force her to carry a baby that she doesn't want?
I feel, as a man, you need to know what happens. It's your responsibility to know what happens, and you need to have self-restraints in order to make sure you don't get into situations
Are you
like
talking
this.
about just for a man or for both parties?
I feel like this falls more on the responsibility of the man,
Why do you feel that it's more on the responsibility of the man than equally?
because as men, women, they got hormones, they got things going through their head, they got a lot of.
Do you think that being emotional entitles anyone to sympathy or special treatment?
I would say I would have more special treatment for women when they're emotional than I do when men when they're emotional.
Why is that?
I mean, because I feel men, you need to be strong. You need to be strong physically and mentally. And if you're not strong in both, you're going to lead to creating a path of fucking destruction and getting yourself into things like this. Because as a man, you need to know how to be strong. And doing shit like that makes you a weak man, in my opinion.
Just to play devil's advocate, if you're going to say that's just the way it is, why bother fighting for any social change?
That's a good point.
I mean, when you say social change.
Sorry, I really want to hear what you.
Yeah, when you say social
I'm
change,
saying-
what do you
I'm
mean?
saying, what if we just said, well, women don't have the right to vote? That's just the way it is.
But that's not the way it is.
Well,
physically.
I know, but the way
physically.
what I'm saying is the way it is changes all the time.
Yeah, I agree.
So why
But you
why
cannot
should we? Okay.
physically make a woman have an abortion. That's it. So
Well, no, I'm
when
not saying. I'm not.
Either way, though.
Well,
either
well,
way.
my point is, I'm not even asking should we force women to have abortions. I'm saying if we give a woman the right to choose, why can't we give a man the right to choose?
I agree.
I understand if you are a rape victim or you're a young woman who, maybe just didn't know, weren't paying attention and one thing led to another and now you have a child. But to opt out of fatherhood and opt out of motherhood, like I'm the perfect example. My father didn't sit there and raise me, and I had a lot of issues growing up. So the fact that he chose to run out based off of the decision that he made to do with my mom makes him a coward. So I don't believe anyone should have the power to opt out. Like, the baby has to suffer now because you don't have the resources to take care of it, but you were willing to commit the crime, but you're not willing to do the time.
The argument that I hear all the time is, well, the man's reproductive rights should have been exercised early. He should have thought of that before he had sex. But the problem with that argument is that is the exact same argument that pro-lifers use against
That's
abortion.
true. You're right. It's hypocritical.